Howdy, home arcade enthusiasts. It's me, it's Michael B, and I'm back for my second video of the day covering the CES coverage. We were all waiting for later tonight when Justin Wong and Media1Up made their official announcement about their new cabinet. But much like when John D worked for Arcade1Up, an official announcement never goes right, as the parent company accidentally leaks the cabs early online. That's right, John D Media1Up is working with Iconic Arcade, and we know what they're making. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this right after this. So that's right, guys, the Media1Up, and now, as we know, Iconic Arcade announcement was leaked early this morning by the Iconic Arcade website. Huge credit or kudos to PDubs for finding this out. He did a live stream earlier. I'm going to be covering my thoughts on the product here, and I don't want to wait any longer to get into it. So thank you so much, everybody, for checking out the video. Guys, I always appreciate the support. If this is your first time to the channel, you like what you see, go ahead, subscribe, click the bell for notification, all the YouTube jazz. So guys, if you head on over to the Iconic Arcade website and go into the US only section, I'm going to be specific about this, you will see the official CES announcement for Iconic Arcade, the project they're working on with Media1Up, and surprise, surprise, John D brought us a Street Fighter cabinet. But what is exciting about this is not a 3/4 entry. No, in fact, it's an XXL entry, and you've got two variations you can choose from. Now, I want to be very specific about this. This is, right now, a US exclusive product. So for those of us in Canada who've been feeling those XL woes from Arcade1Up, this hasn't gotten any better for us, because if you go in and select your region, the John D cab, Media1Up cab, Street Fighter XXL is not available, and you just get the classic Iconic Arcade that we all know and kind of like at its new price point at GameStop. But if you go into the US section, you will be greeted with an amazing splash screen, which I showed you a little bit about earlier. This, I think, was done by our buddy Mason Conrad. Always does amazing work, showing off the two new cabinets. Down here, you get your choice of either one. You can either get a Street Fighter 2 Alpha cabinet, which for people wanting something new in the home arcade space, this is it. We've never got a Street Fighter Alpha 2 cab in a large-scale playable format before, outside of the Evercade Alpha, which was awesome, but this is the actual large-scale standing arcade. And then on top of that, we've got the cab I was kind of hoping they were going to do if they were going to do Street Fighter 2. I absolutely love this one. You know, Cool Toy had the physical cabinet. I love the crazy logo art for the original Street Fighter 2. Very happy to see that model. If you go down on this page, you can also notice there's a look at the two cabs, their side art, Iconic Arcade, XXL arcade machines, and it gives us the 14 games included in the games list. The games list is going to be the same for each cabinet. We're getting Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter Alpha 3, first time on a large size arcade machine, Knights of the Round, which is an amazing beat 'em up, Final Fight, amazing beat 'em up, Giga Wing, that was on the Capcom Street Fighter Deluxe cabinet. Giga Wing 2, no, that's actually brand new, I think. I can't remember. I have the cab. How do I not know? You're getting the original Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, and Hyper Street Fighter 2, you know, that's new. Street Fighter 2 Alpha, and cool shit, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. That's a very nice surprise. Then we're getting my favorite Capcom shoot 'em up, 1944, the Loop Master. You guys know how much I like that one. And then, what is this? Pro Gear, one I'm not that fond of, but overall, this is probably one of the best Capcom games lists to date. The only thing that could have made this better was seeing the Darkstalkers on this like they had with Big Blue, but man, that's a pretty awesome games list. Now, unfortunately, when I try to go into these to give you more information, like I said, I'm in Canada, I'll get a quick splash on this screen, VMI, and oh, it's actually staying up this time. It was actually blocking me out earlier. I'm in luck this time though, so I can actually go into it. We can take a look. The price point is regular price $7.99, but with the pre-order, you can get it for $699.99. You remember the Costco Arcade 1-Up XL cabinets come in at a price point of $5.99, but when the XL cabs were at other retailers, they were in fact $6.99. So the pre-order price is coming in at the original Arcade 1-Up XL price, $6.99. You can decide whether or not that's good value. Personally, it's about what I expected considering what we got before. There's payment options there, full payment, partial payment. You can pre-order, get through Shop Pay. Here's some more information. Street Fighter II, the grandfather of fighting games and esports, was a cultural phenomenon that defined the arcade eras in the 90s. Obviously, this is why they have Justin Wong announcing it later. Tribute to the historic franchises, your fantasy of owning a real arcade is realized with this 9/10 scale replica. Even with the Arcade 1-Up XL cabs, we said that was a little bit closer to 3/4. They, David McIntosh used to always say they're about 90% of the way there. Hopefully this is more 90% of the way there. We'll get into some of the specifications on size in a minute. This is going to be officially powered by the Raspberry Pi 5 hardware. People smarter than me can tell you what the Pi 5 can do, but you've also got to think, if it's got a Pi 5 in it, this is probably going to be hackable as well. So this could become a multicade where you bring your own ROMs on top of it being a very cool looking licensed arcade cabinet. Here's one that's amazing, which I think is really going to help the actual streaming community, especially the fighting community. They want to play these cabinets and actually stream their fights for Twitch, YouTube, and whatever. It's going to have HDMI out functionality. The only Arcade 1-Up that previously had that was the Killer Instinct Pro model, and there were some problems with the HDMI originally, but that's a feature we all want, especially us on YouTube and streamers. You can broadcast gameplay, and it also has online play and leaderboards, which is also really super exciting. It's going to have a vivid 19-inch BOE monitor. As we know, the original Arcade 1-Up XL cabs had the 19-inch TN monitors, which probably really hampered the line. They eventually went to 19-inch BOE and everything was great. So that's a must-have. I don't really see anything about the joysticks here. I have heard from John. He said he was going with high-quality Samwa clone joysticks, so we'll see about that. Is it down here? Precision gameplay. Perform your favorite combos with responsive joysticks and buttons. It doesn't really say, just responsive joysticks and buttons. Relive the arcade era. A 9/10 scale. 14 legendary games. Choose from 14 Capcom titles we've covered. Modern performance, retro feel. Officially powered by Raspberry Pi 5 hardware. HDMI out, effortless assembly and instant play. Assembly easy. It's Arcade 1-Up kind of style. It's going to be IKEA furniture. Hopefully the wood's really good. As you know, with the other iconic arcade that's already out in Canada, you're getting super, super thin wood. This looks like it's a bit thicker. So let's take a look at the cabinet itself. Obviously, it was done to replicate the Dynamo cab. I really like underneath the marquee here, you've got the two speakers with grills. That's a nice touch. You've got the beautiful marquee up there. Hopefully that's reverse printed. You will have the 19-inch BOE, but I will say, looking at this render, I think you could have went with a bigger screen. If I'm going to give Glenn shit about 26-inch in the GRS full scale, I've got to give John shit about it here. Depending on the size, it might be okay, but it looks like there's enough room in that bezel. They could have probably went with a bigger screen, but here's to modding possibilities. We've all seen people put 19-inch screens in their Arcade 1-Up cabs. Maybe you can do it as well here. Control panel is very iconic. Instead of doing the plastic part that Arcade 1-Up did for their Dynamo, they just kind of changed the shape a little bit here. On the front, it does just have black, which is a really smart touch. No branding there. We all hate those Arcade 1-Up kick plates with too much stuff going on. And it's got a faux coin door, very similar to what Arcade 1-Up had. The side of the cabinet, I'm not necessarily in love with. We'll get into that in a minute. So here's the games list for the Alpha Cab. A little bit more information. Online multiplayer, 19-inch BOE monitor we've covered. There's the games list. Very, very cool games list. I would have took Pro Gear off there and threw in maybe Captain Commando or even King of Dragons, but you know, Pro Gear is there, and Gigawing 2 1944 is the superior shooter, but you can have some fun with Gigawing 2 as well. All right, here's a side look at the cabinet, how tall it is. It's going to be 67 inches tall, 28 inches wide. The girth is what's important. One of the failings of Arcade 1Up here recently. 23 inches apart, so very similar to the Arcade 1Up XL cabinets. There's the other side look. I mean, this thing is absolutely beautiful. Going to the side, and this is the point where I don't love it. So taking a look at the side art, and honestly, with Capcom cabs, I like arcade replicas that are arcade accurate. So seeing this, I know what they went for here. They took the little square that's on the side of the cabinet and they blew it up to put it all over the entire side. It's one of the disagreements I have with Arcade 1Up. Now I'm going to have with Media1Up as well. I would rather arcade accuracy, but it probably doesn't look as aesthetically pleasing. I prefer original over aesthetically pleasing, but for people in the community, they're probably going to like this. Me personally, I would have preferred the accurate side where it's just all black and then got a little square to advertise the game. So they're looking down from the front. I mean, this looks absolutely beautiful. The front on angle is perfect. Like, I love everything about it. That's arcade accurate. And it's a new title to the arcade community, so something to be excited about. I mean, it's John. He was going to do Street Fighter. At least he's doing something cool. There's the front look again. Really like it. There's the side view. And we're back to the start on that one. Now with the other cab, this is the one I was super excited about. I loved what Arcade 1Up did with the Capcom Legacy cab. I love this original Street Fighter art. There's just something about that art that's iconic. Reminds me of like the Jordan shoes I had back in the day with that crazy art. So this is the one I'm most excited about. I also love the yellow trim. Definitely not T-molding, but I love the yellow trim on it. So the front of the cabinet is amazing. So really like that. Same games included, no matter what model you go with. Here's the height comparison that we saw. So it's going to be the exact same shape and size as the Alpha cab we just looked at. There's a different side view. Now we're going to get into the side art. And again, I hate this. So there's the Street Fighter 2 picture that's supposed to be a little square on the side. I prefer arcade accuracy. I like the art down here. I know they're going with the control panel art there, but this sideways Street Fighter 2, I don't like. So, I mean, I'm a little disappointed with the side art. I would have preferred arcade accurate. I don't know what the mindset here is. They're trying to make it look nice, but it's not something I love. Even with this Street Fighter 2, if you are going to do this, I hate the fact that it's sideways going up the cab that way. I would have even preferred this image to be a little further over and just the Street Fighter 2 maybe there or something like that. I do not like the side art on this cabinet. I can't stress that enough. There's the front down look, and this is absolutely gorgeous. Like, man, I just love it. Again, I'm going to mention with the screen, looks like there's room for it to be a bit bigger, but 19-inch with an XL cabinet, that seems to be the standard so far. So, yeah, we'll go with that. Another front down view, love it. There's the side view that we started with. I mean, this is an absolutely beautiful cabinet, side art notwithstanding. Like I mentioned, my buddy PDubs Arcade Loft already caught the scoop on this, was the first one out of the gates. If you haven't watched his video yet, go check it out. Go check out his opinion on these cabinets. I'll leave a link in the video description down below so you can go check it out. PDubs is a good guy, and you know, he needs the views. Newcomer to the home arcade community. Support PDubs. Now, like I mentioned earlier, these cabinets are not going to be available in Canada right away, so we can't pre-order now, but I do have information from John D. They will eventually become available. I know I'm going to do my part, harass the brick, and other retail partners I have to go get them, because obviously I want to add them. In the meantime, you can get the Iconic Arcade from GameStop. I bought the control panel myself. It was only 50 bucks, comes with a Pi 4B. Seemed like an insane deal for me to get a control panel with a Pi that I could just play on my Megacade back there. But if you wanted to get the cabinet itself, in the meantime, I think it's currently on sale at GameStop for 250 bucks for a multicade, which is a crazy deal. It's not the highest quality, especially the one they previously put out, and it's kind of ugly. It's not even as good looking as this one, but 250 bucks for a multicade with a Pi 4B isn't a bad deal. And don't forget, guys, even though this announcement is now spoiled, thanks to the Arcade1Up, Iconic Arcade website, more the same again, different company, Justin Wong is going to be streaming live from CES tonight. It's an opportunity to ask Justin and John D questions directly about the cab, so even though this is spoiled, check them out as well. So guys, that's my take on the huge Media1Up Iconic Arcade announcement today. I got to give credit also to the Rexer show because he actually broke this story last week. And I don't watch him, but when someone told me about it, I was like, let me get this straight. I bought this stupid arcade control panel that was only 50 bucks, and somehow he concluded that I'm in cahoots with John D, and it was all about the Pi being in the cabinet. I thought it was his connection to it, but it turns out that he actually had some really good inside information, so kudos to him. You can go back and check out his video. But yeah, the rumors were true. John D, Media1Up, is working with Iconic Arcade, and they're bringing out a new cabinet. I can't wait to hear what you guys think of it. I know some people will be disappointed. It is Street Fighter after all. We've seen so many Street Fighters. It's John D fighting Street Fighter, synonymous with him. It's totally what I expected. I didn't know the game until yesterday. I knew it was going to be a Street Fighter cab for sure, but you knew, right? Anyways, it's Street Fighter. I've never seen the cab before today. I think it looks pretty good. Obviously, I don't like the side art because it's not arcade accurate, but I'd love to hear your guys' feedback on that. Would you have preferred they went with the classic Capcom, like black side panel, and then with the little square, or do you like the expanded art? Also, let me know, what do you think of the price point? What do you think of the dimensions, everything it offers? Let me know down below. Thank you so very much for watching, guys. This is Michael B. the Game Genie. I'll talk to you next time.